Hello, this is WhatiF here, and thought I would do something a little different. And I always kind of like breaking down an anime scene or episode, and especially with One Piece, because One Piece is in a very unique situation where they have to adapt it the way they do, with usually being around 8 pages to 12 an episode, just so it doesn't catch up to the manga. Again, I'm fully aware of that. I know why they do what they do with the episode and why it's like padded out and fillered out a lot. So I totally get it. So I don't want people thinking that I'm just bashing the anime episode, because honestly, the Wano arc has been about as good as it could possibly be, all things considered, with what with what they're given in terms of the how much they can adapt per episode. Because if they were to just adapt it like any other normal anime, like two chapters or more, they're going to catch up to the manga within a year. So they have to do it this way. I understand that, so I don't want people getting it confused. This isn't just to say the episode is bad, because honestly, I think it's pretty fine all in itself. This is just strictly focusing on like what the episode adapts from the manga and how much other padding and other stuff is factored in. So as you see here in my little Sony Vegas here, I have the episode down here, and I have all these little bits here where it's canon, and these other parts that aren't listed aren't that. It's again, this is kind of a very subjective sort of list, and a lot of these edits are a lot of hard cuts. I'm sure if I put more time into it, I can make it a little more smoother. But for this video, these are just kind of basic, general hard cuts, and it'll give you a base idea of what is canon, what was adapted, what's filler or just padding, and all sorts of stuff. I like to do this weekly, and this is always something I've always done. I'll actually show you here real quick of the stuff because I always like to keep track of this shit. I don't know why. But it's just always interesting to me to see what a studio does or how they do it. So I'm going to bring it up real quick. So these are just some of the examples. It's not crazy, but I'll start with we'll start with Hunter x Hunter, for example. I've kept track of this. I like to do stuff like this. It's just fun to me to see what a studio does or how much they adapt per episode. I kept track throughout all of Hunter x Hunter. I did all the JoJo's. This is just stuff I did off camera for fun. So this is just stuff I've always done, as you saw in the files there. I've done a lot of them, but so we'll break it down here. I have it in multiple different Sony Vegases to show you what it looks like when you see like all the canon and all the other normal stuff, and then we can go from there. So we could start off with this, because this episode we'll break this down pretty simply in what the episode adapts. So it adapts the first, I believe, 10 pages of chapter 977. So the first one starts off with the group shouting Jinbei, so we got that here. And then the next part is them all hugging him. They prolong this a good bit in the anime. It's 12 seconds. Not a big deal, but again, it adds up a lot as it goes on and stuff. So we got the hug. Usopp saying they were a former warlord and all that. This is a little bit out of place for where it would be, because this happens a few dialogue scenes after, I think, the Luffy bit in the... I don't know. I remember this being a little bit not out of place, but just placed differently than where it was in the manga. It's not a big deal, but it's just something interesting to notice. Then we get this part here, which is a good 18 seconds, and then we have the Luffy stuff where it made him worried. That's all part of the original manga. Jinbei explains why he wasn't there sooner. Then it goes into a flashback of Jinbei and his past and his relevance in the series, and it's fine. It's good in context because it gives you what you need to know about him, because it's been a while. That's 3 minutes of recap there. If you're marathoning or doing anything in terms of One Piece and you're just watching it all at once, this is kind of like this is not necessary, because you already know, but people that don't, it's serviceable, but it does again, ultimately pad out the runtime. And we were about 8 minutes in. But again, we got to factor in the opening and all that, which is opening and the recap. I made the edit right when the title crawl goes away. So it's about 3.5 minutes. Then we get this little part here that's 33 seconds. So that's already 4 minutes of the episode, and we haven't gotten to like an actual manga like adaptation, which is actually pretty good for One Piece standards. Because I remember in Dressrosa and other earlier post time skip arcs, it was like 5-6 minutes, sometimes 7 minutes before they would even get to the actual episode. So this is actually good, all things considered. I don't want people to think that like this is horrible. It's just, that's just, this is just how I'm breaking it down. Should have done it in order, but that's okay. It's my first time. Give me a break. But yeah, we get this part here with Jinbei looking forward to traveling to sea with them. Then Nami talks about his skills, and then we got another little extra padding stuff. That's about 7 seconds. Frankie talks about how he can move the ship to the potential it needs. Then we get another padding bit. Then that's about 13 seconds. Frankie wants a toast. That's canon. This little bit here is, kind of filler. Because in the actual, in the actual manga, Luffy just says, "Let's do it." That's all he says. I think in the, I didn't actually make the cut here. But yeah, actually, no, that's all in this scene here. So yeah, it's that's all he says. He just says, "All right, let's do it," or just something very simple like that. And then the next bit is we don't have any alcohol on board. So we got this part here, which is about 10 seconds. But again, it's just, we're getting there. This whole bit here is padding, so that's another 20 seconds. Kandro yelling out to Luffy's name. Let me see how long that is. 10 seconds. Then we get, it's like every 10 seconds, it's like we'll get like a canon part for 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, and then we'll get a little bit of padding. This time it's 5 seconds, but then we go back to canon. This adds a little more context to the liar part, because in the manga it's not quite clear. I mean, all he just says is from over there, and then I'm assuming Sanji says liar, so that's fine. That's fine. We got this part here, which is about another 4 seconds, and then we cut to canon material. So again, it seems insufficient, or it doesn't seem like it's that much of a problem, but it's just very like kind of a trend. Like every other scene, it's like they do a canon part, then they do a filler part, or adding extra stuff. And then we got this guy here, his like little reintroduction. So that bit again. So we got that, and we're already 10 minutes in the episode, and I remember when I was editing this, I was only at like 2 minutes. I was only like 2 minutes into like canon parts. I don't know. It's just funny to me to see like how much they stretch the material out. We got this here, and then we got this little tiny part here where Kanjuro says he's happy, he's doing well. And then we got this whole part here, which is about 25 seconds of just kind of recapping Luffy's stuff and when he was captured. Then we got this part here. Even the walking, I kind of added this in just so it makes a little more sense contextually, like how they get together. But again, again, these are all just kind of hard cuts. A lot of this is subjective. If I did it like 100% 1-to-1 from like what the manga is, Probably would be a lot more tighter with the edits, but I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to give it a little bit of leeway if I can. Then we got this one here. He says, "All right, let's begin." Then we get another, little bit here. It's only a couple seconds. Then we got this part where he's talking about the ship and all that stuff. 4 seconds. And then we have this part here. This is where the episode goes into the eye catchers and all that. So that's already the first 12 minutes. And then they stare. And then he says, "All right." I believe I made a cut there that I didn't do here. But you'll see that in the final thing in Sony Vegas when I put it all together. This here is just explaining the layout of Onigashima. And this is all fine. I always like it when they just explain things and give you context to stuff. It's good. I have no problems with this and how they did this. This is about the longest part that's actually anime or canon to the manga. Pretty almost verbatim. It's not 100%, but it's pretty close. Then we got Dendro saying stuff, and we got this part here. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so this is about 8 seconds. So we have another part here that's 16 seconds of him, Kanjuro freaking out about thinking that's all there is to the plan. Law talks about the dangerous people, which is obviously canon. It's again good stuff. When again, One Piece is at its best when it just adapts stuff straight from the manga for the most part, and usually it's always really good. Just the padding and everything just feeling so slow. I get why they do it. It's why I don't always tune into the anime. I hear stuff about it. I tune in to watch the episode and stuff, and I'm happy for what they do. Then we get another part that's actually about a minute long. That's almost entirely just stuff straight from the manga, which is nice. But again, the longest streak of anime, or at least manga related stuff that they adapt, is about a minute. So you maybe get 2 consecutive minutes of it being like manga stuff. But we'll look here. So then this is where we get into like the really confusing part, because they adapt the fighting, but they kind of elongate it, and they actually cut out about 6 panels of the chapter, which I'm assuming they'll do next episode. So that's not going to be a problem. But it just I think it was just done better in the manga, where it's juxtaposed with them talking about the plan, doing all this planning, and they want to do the plan out how to get to the gate, and then you see the crew just absolutely annihilate them with no problem. I think in the manga it works a lot better. It's very quick, swift, and the anime pads it out. It's surface, it's not like it's horrible. It's not like that. It just, you don't need all this extra stuff. This is about 3 minutes of just kind of extra stuff, and it's not bad. It's not like it's horrendous or anything, but you just see where they take their time with it. I'm just surprised that they didn't add in those other panels about Law saying, "Where did the ship go?" We get like a panel of an explosion in the mist. Denjiro saying curses. He didn't worry about the gates or the guards at the gate, and all that stuff. But I'm assuming that'll be next one. And some of these aren't totally in order with everything, because first it's Luffy and then it's Jinbei, but they don't do that. They go to Zoro. So I'm assuming next episode they'll just have Jinbei punching someone and then Kanjuro freaking out. So that's my assumption. Again, it's not a big deal, but it just shows what they how they do it. So we have Luffy punching the guy, and even then, I'm being pretty generous with letting them, saying their abilities, names, and all this stuff. So that's each little bit here is like 16 seconds, 25 seconds roughly. And we got Zoro's bit here. Brook here, which is about 3 seconds. Then we have him doing his ability here, and Robin as well, because this is not. I mean, I don't know. I always like Robin a lot, but I just like the pose in the manga a lot more. Some of these are stripped straight from the manga. Luffy's punch, Zoro's attack, like that's 1-for-1. Brooks isn't at all. Robin's isn't at all. I don't know. I always like that panel in the manga with Robin's. It just looked really badass, but they didn't do that. Sanji's is the same. Frankie's is pretty much the same. Then we have Sanji, I guess for all intents and purposes, sipping over Robin. And then which is about 20 seconds. Then we have Sanji's bit here. Then, which is 8 seconds. Then we have Frankie's here, 16 seconds. And then that's pretty much where the episode ends. Obviously, Nami, Chopper, and Usopp looking on. In the manga, there's no lines of dialogue, at least at that angle. They say in like a far away, in the next panel, all right, good, well job, or well done. It's it's fine, but I'm sure they'll do that next episode. That's basically where all the how all the edits are. It's about 30 different ones of some kind. Then I'll show you the final version of when you just adapt strictly the manga, just how much time. Actually, we'll show you what it's like with the opening and ending credits of sorts being cut out. So I'll do that real quick. Alrighty, so we have the opening and ending stuff done here. So we got 3.5 minutes here of the opening and recap, so we put that over here. Then we'll get rid of the continue. So actually, let me do one more little edit. Here we go. Alright, so that's about 19 minutes and 37 seconds of material that's from all this from the beginning. And this is what it's like when you cut out all the padding or filler. And here it is. It's about 7 minutes and 19 seconds. Yeah, it's not a good ratio. And I'm gonna actually do a little grading system. This is just in terms of just pacing. This isn't about story quality. This isn't about like what is in here, because obviously One Piece, a lot of arcs are really good, and the material that they actually do adapt is really good. I have no problem with that. But this is just strictly grading it in terms of pacing per episode and all that. So I'm gonna bring out my handy dandy calculator guide and we'll see how much of this is padding. We have everything written down. 7 minutes and 19 seconds of actual canon material, and 19 minutes and 37 seconds for the actual episode when you factor out the intro and then the recap, and then the recap at the end of the episode, or for the next episode I mean. And hopefully we'll get a accurate percentage of how much is being adapted per episode. 37%. And now we'll do 100 minus 37.3, and then we'll see how much that is how much of it is padding. So that 100 minus 37.3 is 62.7% of it is padding. And the way I was going to grade these is if it was over, if it's at around 50% in terms of padding or canon material, then it'll be a passing grade. But since this is not the case, this is a grading, an F grade. We'll actually put this in my notepad here, and maybe this will be a weekly thing to see if they can get past a certain grade, which I don't have any numbers or anything, just that if it gets more than 50% canon. And there it is. So that's the basic episode breakdown and how they do it per episode. I'm kind of curious what you guys think. Again, I'm not trying to bash the anime for what they do. I get why they have to do it this way and everything, but it's just fun to see, just in terms of numbers and what they do and whatnot. So this is why I usually either try to watch the One Piece edits or just watch them in bulk at a period of time, because you're just sitting through a lot of extra stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be seen. I think that's just me though. But yeah, there you go. There's your little breakdown. So let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll see you all later.